Hey everybody, Spartan here from SpartanTrading.com. I want to hit you guys with a trade review video this week, and in this video I want to talk about NVAX. Now today is the 4th of August, and it is just after hours right now, as you can see. And I want to talk about this trade, not because it was a great technical trade or whatever, and I made a bunch of points on it, blah, blah, blah. No, I want to talk to you guys about it because I was able to do due diligence on this extremely fast, and I think that's extremely important when news comes out. And I didn't see anyone mention this on any of the social media when I did the due diligence. And I don't think people understood how important this was or how important it is to actually just determine these things. Now, what happened during this NVAX? Basically, NVAX came out in the morning and they said that they had approval from the EU, I guess, to purchase up to 200 million doses of their vaccine. There was no cost within the news, so it was really hard to quantify what that actually meant from a dollar perspective. So what I did immediately was I did take a position pretty much instantly on that, but I did add back into that position full size when I did get a slight pullback based off of my due diligence. Now, the due diligence was as I looked back and I went to the website FinViz. I searched up old contract. I basically searched up like contract vaccine doses, 100 million, 200 million, 300 million. And really quickly, I came across old news from 2020 when NVAX sold 100 million doses to the U.S. government for $16 per dose. And you can also just Google, what do certain doses cost? What's the cost for these guys? Or what are the selling these doses at? mRNA, Pfizer, et cetera, and you'll get it on Google pretty quickly. So I wanted to quantify very fast what that news meant from a dollar perspective, because how can I know how impactful that news is to the company if I don't know how much impacts the revenue, right? So I think they did about 940 million or something like that last year. This is a $3.2 billion worth of new revenue that could potentially be coming in, or that is coming in, I guess, if they purchase them again at the old price of where they sold the 100 million to the U.S. Government at $16 per share. So right away, I thought that's very significant. We also know that Moderna and Pfizer just raised their vaccine prices. So based off of that, I mean, we could probably assume that NVX is going to raise theirs as well. But either way, so from there, I can see that it's extremely impactful. They got earnings on Thursday. Is that going to impact their guidance, future guidance? Yes, most likely. I think it will. So ended up taking a position, at the 192.27 level. Went full size pretty quickly. Scaled out at a bunch at 197. Scaled out some more at 198, 204. We got a little bit of a pullback. I added back full size at the 207 level. Added a little bit more, and then ended up selling a whole bunch at the 216, 216.10, and the 216 level. It started to pull back a little bit more, so I ended up exiting the position, the rest of it, on this candle around 210.64, and then it came all the way back. And on the open, I was like, okay, I'm going to scalp this thing again to the upside. It's flagging in the pre-market. And I use a 10-minute chart to trade, but I'm just showing you on the 1 minute so you can see the executions. And I figured, okay, it's probably got room to the top of this range, that 231 level. If it can break back through this, where's this? Right there, 223 resistance. So my 223 is my first resistance level, my first target, and then the 231 level. And you can see that I added into it on the or bought it for a scalp. I ended up selling a bunch at the 216s. Ended up adding to that core around 222. Unloaded a bit at the 223 level, and then unloaded a little bit more at the 225s. And then I ended up holding a piece the entire day, looking for more of a breakout. It didn't quite get through that 231 level, and I wanted to swing it essentially. And then at the end of the day, it kind of started to pull back a bit. So ended up taking the rest of that position off at 219. But overall, from 192 to 225, whatever that is, 8, 10, 18, 28. It's fairly significant. 32 points ish, 33 points, I guess. Pretty big move. A lot of it had to do with, my conviction on it. A lot of it had to do with understanding the news and what that actually meant from a financial standpoint. So when news comes out, what you want to try to do is try to quantify it from that standpoint, because then you can see how impactful it is to the actual underlying revenue and the company itself. So just a quick little video here, guys. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think my math was off when calculating how many points it was. Let's just do that officially. 33 points, so pretty good. I said, what, 32? One off. Anyways, so that's that, guys. Pretty good trade. And yeah, hopefully this helped. If you guys have any questions, you can go to SpartanTrading.com. Otherwise, have a good one, and I'll talk to you guys next week.